Ladies and gentlemen, hey, how y'all doing? Listen, I want you all to think about the last time that you shared a deep insecurity with your spouse. I want you to think about, did it feel like you were dropping a coin in a wishing well, or did it feel like you were handing them a loaded gun? Because in most marriages, we say we want honesty, but we don't always build a house that can hold it. All right. And when we don't build a house that can hold it, we tend to leak secrets to our friends, to our family. We also weaponize past mistakes in the heat of an argument. And then we wonder why our partners eventually stop opening up to us. So today we are changing the blueprint. We're going to be talking about becoming the vault. The one place on earth where your spouse's heart is 100% secure, 100% private, and 100% untouchable. All right. So my name is Brad.
And I'm Terry.
All right. And this is Vaulted, creating a space, safe space for your spouse. Let's get into it. All right. So welcome back. And I'm going to use my cue cards. I'm going to use my cue cards so we can stay on task and so that we cover everything that needs to be covered. Okay, so let's talk about this. I want to pose a question. What happens when your spouse tells you something that you've never told anyone else? Do you feel like they've handed over a treasure or a weapon that could be used against them? So when we look at this idea of being a vault, becoming a vault, let's first define what a vault is.
Let me use my cue cards too. A vault is where your spouse's truth is stored securely and it's never used as leverage.
All right, so I'm going to say that again. A marriage or the vault is a marriage where secrets, insecurities, and failures are stored securely and never used as leverage. Okay, so let's go back to our question. We're going to answer these questions for the people, but we want you also to answer them for yourselves and for your spouses. All right, so whenever I share, or whenever you share, something with me that you've never told anybody else, do you feel like you've handed me a treasure or a loaded weapon?
Now I can say that I feel like it's secure. It's something I don't feel like you're going to use it as a weapon. Now, in our younger days, it was a toss-up, and I just took it as it was, because we hadn't built the trust in that aspect in our earlier years of marriage. Yeah, we were good friends, but we really didn't experience a whole lot of rough stuff until we were married.
Right.
So. Yeah. Okay. What about you?
In the earlier days, most of the times I felt like I was handing you a loaded weapon. And again, that stemmed from the trust piece not being as deep as it should have been or could have been. We started out as good friends, still are, but we started out as good friends and we shared a lot during those times. But I believe that once you get married, the trust should deepen.
It should.
And a lot of people feel like, well, you should trust on a deep level before you get married. No, you just trust for the engagement level.
Yeah.
Or the dating level.
Or friend level.
Friend level, right.
Because you're just getting to know people. You don't tell everything. And then, to be honest, there were things that came out later in our marriage that we were unaware of. Some trauma that I experienced, really didn't realize how bad it was affecting my relationship until later on. So it's things about ourselves that we usually go into the relationship not knowing that that's what's going on with us and why we act a certain way and why we do certain things. So it doesn't get deep. Your trust level doesn't get deeper until you are actually married or in a covenant with that person, for that trust level to go deeper.
And some stuff is not unearthed or comes to the surface until after you get married.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times people operate on suppression. They suppress a lot. They suppress a lot because they're with this person that they've pledged their life to, and you feel like, hey, if I let them know this about me or how I feel about this or how I see this or what I want to do, then you have, there's a fear level there. So a lot of times people just put it in a little box and put it away in the back corner somewhere until it can't be hidden anymore. So yeah, so we want you all to think about that when you are sharing with your person, your spouse. Do you feel like, answer this, do you feel like you are handing them a treasure, or do you feel like you are handing them a loaded gun? Why? Because we want you to answer this, because we want to be able to move from transactional relationships to a sanctuary relationship. All right. So just keep that in mind. So let's move on a little bit further in this. And when we talk about, since we've already defined what a vault is, let's look at the three pillars. This is what we call the three pillars of the vault. All right. And we're going to share all three and discuss all three. All right. So the first pillar is structural integrity. Structural integrity, which, if you just want a word, one definition, is consistency. All right. Consistency. So being steady, we got to learn to be a steady presence to our spouse, so that our spouse knows what to expect when they open up to us. In other words, we want to make sure that there are no explosive no explosive reactions. All right. So structural integrity. Structural integrity. That thing is trying to tear me up. Structural integrity. All right. So again, it's being a steady presence, non-volatile presence for your spouse, so that your spouse knows that what to expect when they open up. You want to talk about that?
Just to say that, to keep in mind that when you are explosive, it does create a withdrawal. I guess we both is messing up words today.
Yeah.
A withdrawal from you when you are explosive. So it's important that we stay at a calm and allow people to our spouses to express themselves without that expectation
of being explosive. Because
ooh, yeah.
ticking time bomb, TNT, dynamite. And I think for me, for the most part, it was the fact that I was carrying so much the responsibility of being a father, because I was a father first, then being a husband, a preacher, an elder, all these things in the church. And for other people, I was just carrying so much weight. And so when it came down to us talking, I was just explosive and reactionary.
And two, I've learned that we are products of our environment. And I think too, with you, I've learned over the years where that came from.
Yeah, that's
I know where
that's
that came
where
from.
that's yeah.
And so you learn that behavior to react like that, and that's why you did that.
And it was a normal thing.
Exactly.
It was a norm in my household for explosivities. So that's how I was socialized, and the environment that I was in, an explosive environment when it comes to expressing yourself. I'll say it like that.
And see, in my household, I really looked at my father, I believe, on how he reacted and how he did things, because he was under the weight of the world, which was not good because it affected his health. So I did learn that too. But with suppressing things and just holding things and just making sure things get together, that wasn't a good way of handling it either. But I maintained composure for the most part until my cup runneth over. Right. Which is not good. You don't want to do that either.
Right.
You really need to be able to speak to one another on a level of receptive.
Right. And then also you got to learn when to discuss things. Timing. And I believe we're going to get into that a little bit later, but you got to know when to discuss. Look, if somebody's the type of person that they say, hey, can we just shelf this up for another time? Respect that.
Absolutely.
Don't push. Respect that, because you want your vault to be secure and strong and maintain its integrity. That's why you gotta use these 3 pillars. So the first one is structural integrity, which is consistency. Consistently showing up and showing your spouse that this is a safe place and that there is no need to explode, all right? No explosive reactions. So let's move to number 2. The second pillar is a time lock. So when you look at a vault has to have a time lock. And what is a time lock in simple terms? Time lock is patience, all right? Patience, which simply means allowing your spouse to process at their own speed and not forcing vulnerability before they're ready. All right?
And even with having patience for your spouse, with giving them the opportunity and that time to process, it gives you time to process, because when you are pushing for that information, you already giving that I'm gonna explode energy.
Right.
So when both parties have the opportunity to relax and think things through, so when you are able to talk, when everybody is ready to come to the table, you'll be able to show up with consistency.
Right.
Yeah.
And patience. So again, allow your person time. Allow them time. And this is my thing. We got to learn that it's necessary, because if you work, you have work stuff on the brain. You got what you're going to eat, what you're going to cook, yes. The laundry, the trash needs to be taken up, what bill didn't get paid, what bill needs to be paid, what arrangement do I make? It's all kinds of things. Then let's put the children in there.
Oh,
if you have children, they have needs.
Lots of needs. You have friends, you have co-workers, you have all of these different things. So allow your spouse the space of patience, all right? All right. So the third pillar of the vault is strict privacy. Strict privacy. I'm going to say it again for the people in the back. Strict privacy. And what's a simple term for strict privacy? Confidentiality. So we have to understand the no leaking rule. What is the no leaking rule, Moss? I'm getting ready to tell you. You have to be careful with venting to your mom and your best friends and anybody else outside of your spouse about your spouse's private struggles, all right? You got to be careful with that. You have to be careful with that. So let's talk about strict privacy and confidentiality. I just want to say that in the health field, any organization actually, especially when you're dealing with people's private information, it's always kept as confidential. So that if the business world does it, why don't we do it as spouses? What goes on in your home needs to stay in your home, unless it's abuse. You need to go to somebody about abuse.
Right.
But when it comes down to your spouse's struggles and the thing that they're dealing with, you need to learn how to handle that, and be able to hold that for them, and not because what happens is when you go tell these people about your spouse, they start looking at your spouse funny and treating them indifferent, but you having a problem with them because they have a problem with your spouse, but you gave them tea on your spouse.
Right.
And you don't expect them to act like that towards them, even though your feelings have changed for the moment and you're not on that right now. They don't see that as that. They see it as this joker got some problems and make the wrong move.
Right. And so we often think of a vault as something cold and industrial, but in marriage, the vault is and should be the warmest place in your house. It's where your spouse's heaviest burdens go to rest. And if your spouse's heaviest burdens cannot go to rest in your vault, then something is wrong and you need to fix it. You need to examine it, find out what's wrong, and you need to fix it. All right. So again, it's the place where your spouse's heaviest burdens come to rest, but a vault only works if the walls are solid. So again, we need to make sure that you maintain the strength of your vault by exercising these 3 pillars, which are structural integrity, which is consistency, a time lock, which is patience, and then strict privacy, which is confidentiality. Because listen, you can tell the wrong people the right information and it go wrong.
Absolutely.
Because and people will weaponize it to you. Oh man, my wife don't do this. Or, oh man, my wife don't do that. Oh man, my wife don't do this. And he's over there taking notes, notating what your wife don't do, so he can go and see and affirm and validate and pour into. Right. Because a listening ear can be a shoulder to lean on, and a shoulder to lean on can be a bed to lay in. I don't have no help.
And even with a male telling a female,
right? Absolutely,
the same thing.
I'm just speaking from the man's point, so yeah, you go ahead and help the women.
But speaking to someone in regards to your spouse, that woman could actually become, oh, your wife don't do that, then I'm gonna do it for you to make sure that that need is being met, even though that person don't even care to stay consistent. But in that moment, to pull you away, they will. So you have to be careful.
Yeah, you have to be very careful with that. All right. So let's look at something else. I want to talk about this. So it takes years to build a vault. I know you can go out and you can purchase a vault in the natural world, but when you look at marriage and relationships, it takes years to build a vault. That's why some of y'all are surprised that I can't believe he told somebody that about me. Mm-hmm. It takes years to build, all right? It takes years to build a vault, but it only takes one reckless comment to blow the door off, all right? And we've all been there, where we let something slip or we use a secret as a jab in a fight. We need to talk about the vault breakers, all right? We need to talk about the vault breakers, because sometimes we're not destroying our spouse's safe space, or we are destroying our spouse's safe space, without even realizing it. All right? So we got to know what are vault breakers, all right? So if you're taking notes, let's get into it. So we have 3. So the first vault breaker, this is what you need to avoid when you are dealing with building a vault or having a vault, maintaining a vault. You need to avoid weaponizing vulnerability. Weaponizing vulnerability. What is that, Moss? That is bringing up a past confession during a heated argument. All right? I'm going to say that again. Bringing up a past confession during a heated argument. In other words, you weaponize, you take what your spouse told you and you pull it out as a knife to stab, or you pull it out as a gun to shoot, or you pull it out as a brick to bust them to the white meat in the heat of an argument. I'll never forget, I was thinking about this. This particular people that I was thinking about are not married, but they were dating, and something specific that the female did in the bedroom to this individual, and when they got into a heated argument, he pulled that out and said, "You dirty low down bleepity bleepity bleep, and you do blah 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 blah. I can't believe you." It's almost like that song too. It's a song that has where it's a guy and a girl, and he was talking about, "Man, I can't believe you did this to me. You hurt me." And she performed oral sex on this other dude. These people was from Baltimore too, because their accent. And he was talking, "I'm gonna kill us, I'm gonna kill us." And she's like, "No, you're not. You're not gonna do this. All these times you've done this to me, that and the third, and this one time." But my point is, okay, I don't know who it is, but I'm pretty sure some of y'all have heard it. But weaponizing people's vulnerability. So it's no wonder that they feel a certain way to you when you say stuff like, "You're just like your father, you're just like your mother," when you weaponize that. All right, so you got to be careful of that. You want to talk about that? Okay. All right. The second vault breaker that you want to avoid is the fix-it trap. The fix-it trap. Well, what is that, Moss? That's jumping straight to solutions instead of sitting in the discomfort of them. I'm going to say that again. The fix-it trap is where you jump straight to solutions instead of sitting in the discomfort of them.
And I can say I have been guilty of that. Fix it. And that's how I was trained. I was trained to fix it, to make everything right and let's move on. But it's important for you to sit in the discomfort. Even though we don't like discomfort, we don't like challenges, it's good to sit in it because there are lessons to learn in that discomfort. There are things to learn about yourself. There's things to learn about your spouse, and things to learn about the relationship as a whole when you sit in that discomfort rather than trying to find that solution right away, because there could be a better way when the two of you are able to come back together and come to a consensus and not one person coming up with all the solutions. It's better when you team up and do it together.
Right, absolutely. So yeah. Can you think of a time that you jumped straight to a solution instead of sitting in the discomfort?
I was trying to figure it out. Think of one. I know I was bad at it.
Gotcha.
Bad at wanting to fix everything because being churchy and feeling like there was this particular image that we were supposed to
uphold.
Yeah. So I was very protective of that image and maintaining this not so much of holier than thou, but didn't want to make God ashamed and bring a reproach to the body. I think that was my biggest thing, and I didn't want us to be a part of it. So like, don't do that. Bring it in. So, but no, I can't think of an example. You know what? Not right off.
No, not right offhand. Yeah, but understand that's a vault breaker.
Yeah.
when you got a person that has a savior complex, when you have somebody who has that superhero complex where they want to just swoop in and save the day, and they always have a solution and always have the answer and always the resolution is sit down somewhere. Sit down somewhere. And sometimes you have to sit in the discomfort. I remember whenever I was a child and there was something that I did that was wrong, that demanded correction. And if I did get my butt whooped, you know, the parents would always say, this is going to hurt me more than it hurts you. No, it's not. But we had to sit, especially my dad, he was big on you sitting in the discomfort of your decision so that you can feel all the things so that you don't repeat this. So it's important that you get away from the fix-it trap. So, and I want to speak to those people who are out there who are listening to us, who you have that savior complex, that you just feel like you always have to come up with the answer. Listen, sometimes I have learned from this, sometimes you just got to let stuff fall apart. You got to let things fall apart. You got to allow the fire to blaze. You got to let the sting.
And that's so hard.
It is.
It's very hard.
It is.
But you know what? If you learn that lesson, you could take it anywhere in life.
Absolutely.
Because I think about with jobs, stuff be going all haywire,
Yes.
and you be trying to fix it. No, let it burn. It
Yeah,
is what
absolutely.
It is.
There's other firemen in here. I'm not the only one in the firehouse. So yeah. All right.
You need to take that same. Look, why am I trying to do everything on my own, stressing myself out? And I got a spouse. Let me calm down. We're going to figure this out
together. Absolutely, because it affects everybody. It affects both of us. It affects the whole house. So, yeah.
Because when you do that, when you have that fix it, you'll go back into using weaponizing vulnerability in that you will you come up with the solution. Nobody told you to do this by yourself.
Right.
You get and so you mad because you keep taking on all these different things and making things happen on your own,
carrying loads that you're not equipped or strong enough to carry,
and then that you start weaponizing stuff.
Yeah.
Because I had to do this. No, you didn't.
And I'm the only one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's. Whew.
If it wasn't for me.
Yes. Yes.
If it wasn't for me, we wouldn't have this, and we wouldn't do this, and we wouldn't be. So that's why it's important to sit down somewhere.
Sit down somewhere. Absolutely. All right, let's go to the third one. The third vault breaker, and what you need to avoid is minimizing. Minimizing. And what is minimizing? Minimizing is using phrases like "it's not that bad," or "you're not over it," or "you're overreacting," which effectively shuts down the vault door.
Oh, I was guilty. I'm so guilty.
It's not that bad. It's bad. It's that bad for them.
Exactly.
It's that bad for me. Yes, it is. Or for somebody to say you're overreacting, or this is one, you doing too much. You doing the most.
The most.
Well, how about it's not that? This is my Pastor Stacy class. How about it's not that I'm doing too much? How about it's the fact that you ain't doing not enough? How about that? See how I weaponized?
Yep, you did.
So yeah, so minimizing, using phrases like "it's not that bad" or "you're overreacting," and those types of phrases ultimately shuts the door of the vault. It slams, it hurts, and it damages the door of the vault. And if the door of the vault is damaged, it's easy for stuff to leak out, y'all. And it's easy for somebody to put a crowbar in there and pry it open and expose your secrets, your marriage, your vulnerabilities, all right?
Definitely a vault breaker.
Yeah. So, go ahead.
I was going to say just the fact of, with minimizing, how would you feel if your emotions were minimized? And that's the biggest thing with marriage. You have to put yourself in your spouse's shoes. How would you feel if this situation happened to you, or how would you feel? And I got an example of the middle person. So I had recently lost my job, and I was very upset because I had lost the job right when we had been approved for a house. We had picked out the house and everything was a go. And then I guess probably about something went wrong and the house deal fell through. And about 2 weeks later, I lost the job, not realizing that, okay, that was the hand of God keeping us from getting this house that we wouldn't have been able to afford because I had lost my job, because I was going to lose my job. And I had came home and I was just in tears. And he was like, "What are you crying for?" I lost my job and we are here. I don't want to be here. I want to be in my own place. And it was like, it's not that bad. Yes, it is bad. To me, it was bad. But, you know, with that, I just felt so just like, dude, you see where we are? Do you understand where we are? Why is it not that bad? But yeah, that was my example.
Okay. All right. So remember, those are things to avoid. Things to avoid. Those things that will cause your vault to be broken. All right. So let's look at this. Principles and practical steps that you can use. Simple stuff that you can use to maintain the maintenance of your vault and the security of your vault and the strength of your vault. All right. So if you're sitting there thinking, man, I've definitely leaked some secrets, don't panic. All right. The vault can be rebuilt. The vault can be repaired, and it starts with very small daily deposits. All right. Deposits of what? Trust. You got to learn to trust again. And, you know, you may say like, well, the trust was broken and I don't have a whole lot. Well, you don't need a whole lot. All it takes is daily depositing small deposits of trust to rebuild the strength of your vault. All right. And this is how we can move from theory to practicing, starting immediately after this video. All right. Immediately after this video, you can employ these steps. So let's get into it. All right. First thing is do a daily check-in. Do a daily check-in. And what do I mean by that? That means ask this: how was your heart today? Rather than how was your day. Ask, I'm going to say it again. Ask, how was your heart today? Not how was your day.
Ooh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, because most of the time, y'all know, most of the times when you ask somebody, how was your day? It was a day. I know that's my default answer. It is what it is. It was what it was.
Right.
You know. And the reality is that it was that, but shift that and ask, how is your heart today?
Because that way you are able to get to what you're really asking. Because when I ask, how was your day? That's really what I want to know. Like how your work was, yes, but how are you?
Right.
How are you doing today?
Right.
Yeah, we on. No.
All right. So check in daily.
Absolutely.
Check in daily. One of the things that we did, and we had this question 2 weeks ago when we were at another marriage gathering, and the question was, how do you maintain intimacy when you got hectic schedules and this and that, or, you know, and we want to offer this. It may work for you, it may not. I know it certainly worked for us, but what we did, we just bought a simple journal, notebook, and composition book, whatever. And we wrote each other notes, poems, stories, whatever the case. You know, sometimes we completed heated discussions in this journal because we found it easier to write out how we felt and what was on our mind clearly, so that the next person could read it and receive it clearly. Right. All right. So just get you a journal and, you know, write it, leave it in a place where you and your spouse frequent every day, whether it's a nightstand, wherever. I mean, it's up to you. At a place in your home by the coffee maker, who knows? A place where you and your spouse gather together frequently and commune with each other. All right. So perhaps you can do that. So make sure that you check in daily with your spouse. Secondly, the safe word for conversations. Develop a safe word for your conversations. Now, some of you all, this is none of my business, may have a safe word for your bedroom. That's none of my business. We listen and we don't judge. Amen. Praise the Lamb. But you need a safe word for your conversations. And what do I mean by that? That means establishing a signal for when one person needs to share something sensitive without receiving immediate feedback. All right, I'm going to say that again. Establish a signal for when one person in your relationship needs to share something sensitive without receiving immediate feedback. I don't know what y'all come up with your safe word. You know, ours one time was mask off. You know, some people use pineapple. So when we hear that, we know, listen, I don't need no immediate feedback. I'm just sharing to share. We're going to get back to this later. Right. I need to get this off of me right quick. Right. All right. But also you need a safe word for when there is something that we need to talk about later.
Ears of corn. I think
ears of corn. When you, yeah, we ain't gonna tell why we say that, because if we're ever in the midst of these viewers, they'll know why. So we have a word. We have several words that we use when we need to say, like, hey, we need to talk about this, but we need to talk about this later. All right, we need to shelf this and put it in the vault and crack the safe and talk about this later. All right. Also, you need a word for when you pissed off and this is not a good time. Jalapeno. Jalapeno. It's hot. Jalapeno. So say jalapeno when you say or when you use these safe words. That means conversation stops immediately. You don't get an explanation. You don't get any more input. It stops until later. Until the timing is right. Absolutely. So a daily check-in, safe word for conversations, and then active listening. Baby. Active listening. The power of the phrase, thank you for trusting me with that. Use that. Thank you for trusting me with that. Thank you. I'm telling you, if y'all use these practical everyday tips, you can start today right after this video. Absolutely. I'm telling you, it will work. And you have to be consistent.
Yes.
Have to be consistent. Yes. All right?
Because once you have utilized your vault breakers, it only takes one to blow the whole safe or the whole vault up.
Yes.
But it's going to take time to put all those pieces back together.
Absolutely.
And to rebuild. So that's why it is imperative that you stay consistent and use these tips daily to rebuild. All
right. Now, before we go, we're going to share. I know we live in a day and age of affirmations and things of that nature. So we want to provide you some vault affirmations that you can use. And we encourage you to write these down. We encourage you to repeat them. We encourage you and your spouse to do it singly, but also maybe during times of togetherness that you use these affirmations. Okay. So I'm gonna read one and then you read another. So I'm gonna read this one. My spouse's heart is safer in my hands than it is anywhere else in the world.
I am a sanctuary, not a judge. I will listen to the messy parts without trying to tidy them up.
What is shared in the vault stays in the vault. I will never use my spouse's vulnerability as a weapon in a fight.
I will prioritize my spouse's peace over my need to be right or my urge to fix them.
Right. And then lastly, trust is built in drops and lost in buckets. Today, I am choosing to add a drop. That's good. I'm going to say that again. Trust is built in drops. So for those of you who have experienced broken trust in a relationship, listen, Rome was not built overnight, and neither is trust that has been broken. So you have to do it piece by piece, fragment by fragment, moment by moment, brick by brick, block by block, boulder by boulder, beam by beam. You get the point? You got to do it drop by drop. So trust is built in drops and lost in buckets. So today I am choosing to add a drop.
And a good place to put your affirmation, maybe you have a mirror in your bedroom or in the bathroom. Write these things down so when you see them, you will see your reflection and you'll see your affirmation.
Absolutely. And go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, and be reminded to, affirm today. And it helps shape and refocus your day and your time with your spouse. All right. So, we're going to do this right quick and we're going to get out of here. I'm going to ask you a question. We're going to ask a question. When you think about the last time you were truly struggling, did I feel like a safe harbor or a stormy sea?
You felt safe.
Okay.
Very safe.
Okay. So, what? Huh? Oh. Yeah. You were. I felt safe. Felt like I was in a safe harbor. And as we addressed in the beginning, there were times where I did not feel. There were times when I shared things with you and it felt like a stormy sea.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it felt like, forget it. I'm just getting my little rowboat and go on my merry way, on my paddle boat and go my merry way. So, yeah. All right.
Privacy check.
Mm-hmm.
Are there things you've told me that you secretly feel I've shared with others?
Fear.
Secretly fear.
Oh, I thought you said feel. My bad. Go ahead. Read again. My bad. Read from the top.
The privacy check. Are there things you've told me that you secretly fear I've shared with others?
No. Because I own my stuff. And if anybody asks me, I'm going to tell them.
Same.
I don't. Some folk, and this is what gets me. People can't handle stuff. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
You can show them or tell them a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And you can see in that moment that you are not a safe place. You are not safe soil.
At all.
All right. So the response audit. When you come to me with a problem, do I usually try to fix you or do I just sit with you? Which one do you actually need more of? Y'all need to ask and answer these questions to your spouse. I'm gonna read it again. When I come to you with the problem, do I usually try to fix you or do I just sit with you? And which one do you actually need more of?
It really depends on the situation or the moment of which one I need more of. Because each thing I've ever come to you with has its own dynamics and things about it that I might need you to sit with me, or I may need answers or to fix.
Gotcha. Okay.
But in a recent matter, after you had came back from your trip and we had laid in the bed and talked, you sat with me, and I appreciated it because that's what I had needed at that moment.
And I'm learning that. And then sometimes this is good because sometimes I'll be like, Lord, I've got the strength today. I just want to listen to it. Like when we were riding down the road yesterday, you was just talking about your job and them people. And I just was listening.
And that's all I needed.
I was just listening.
I think as long as we've been together, I think we know what each other needs are. I mean, yeah, we know it.
And again, it takes time, y'all. It takes time, trust me. It takes time and it takes maintenance and revisiting certain things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
As you grow, as you age, as you develop, as you blossom, as you open up, and as you experience, your needs change.
Because we've been together, 35 years?
Yes.
And we're just not getting it.
Getting it more.
Yeah.
It's becoming more and more clear to us
Yeah.
the older we get.
Yeah.
All right.
The historical view. What did a safe space look like in the home you grew up in, and how is that influencing the way we talk to each other now?
Well, for me, what a safe space looked like in my home was like with my dad. My dad was very open and receptive, and he was the type of person that you felt like you could go and talk to him about anything without judgment, without a bunch of static and explosion, because he just was not that person. If he was, I never saw that. He never talked loud. He was very soft-spoken, very calm, but don't let that fool you.
Right.
But he was a safe space. So, and I miss him because let me go back, but even as an adult, I could still go to him and talk to him about anything. And that's what I miss now. So now I realize, hey, I want to be that type of person, a safe space for you, but also for our children.
Yeah.
I don't want to be that explosive. I know with our children, it's just like they be wanting to tell you stuff that sometimes I ain't ready. As a father, I'm not ready to hear my daughters talk about certain things. I want them to come to me. I do, because that's just the dad, that's the father,
Right.
That's to protect her. But some details, it's like they don't have no filter.
I'm sorry. I'll take that.
So
I'll take it.
And God, and if y'all have any tips on how to better deal with that, better handle that, y'all let me know. I know my daughters is probably gonna chime in, but Lord God.
I guess you have to take that same response audit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Just to sit with them. That's all.
Gotcha.
It's the same.
But I understand, but it's the information that they sharing is the go back to the sitting in the discomfort.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Y'all see how this works?
So it's not just for your marriage.
It's for any relationship. Because friendships, and one day we're going to talk about that. Friendships be a whole lot, y'all. Friends be a whole lot. We're not going to discuss that on this show today, but we're going to get to it. All right. So the future goal. What is one thing I could change about my body language or my tone that would make it easier for you to open up?
Okay, so I'm gonna talk about the past for the sake of conversation.
Okay.
And that one thing was talking loud. Like he would talk so loud. It was like he was hollering at me all the time, and I just, sir, bring it down. We don't need you up here. We need you here. We're just having a conversation. I'm passionate, sir. You blowing me up out of the water. I can't. You scare me. But yeah, that was the one thing. And I said I had to talk about something from the past because he's not that person that we can talk on the same sound wave. Volume, that's the word.
Yeah. All right, that's good.
What about me?
For me, I believe it's the yeah. It's the nonchalant for me.
Chill.
Like uninterested, just you're not moved by what I'm telling you, even though it's moved me or whatever the case may be.
I knew it.
Yeah. So.
And it's not that I'm nonchalant, it's just I don't wanna.
We don't need two explosive people because I'm explosive.
Right.
I'm a lot better now.
Yes.
I'm a lot better. I will light your hiney up like a Christmas tree. However, I'm a lot better. I've grown.
And
I am
think
proud
I'm
of. I'm
not-
proud of you, black man.
I don't think I'm as nonchalant as I used to be, because I will turn up on you.
Yeah, you will. You still a little
I'm
nonchalant.
but I would.
I think now you a little bit more ADHD now, because we could be talking about something and mother gonna go to something she gonna move on in the service to whatever she gonna move on to the announcements. We're just trying to do the new and Old and New Testament scriptures. Can we get mother done already jumped to the offering?
Jump. You are right.
I'm
you
like,
are
okay then.
We finished with this subject?
Right.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Lord. I be so. And listen, I am a detail-oriented I love details. I love the juice.
Oh, God. He
I
wants
love
all the deep.
All of it. I want all of it. Don't just tell me you like bubble gum. What do you like about it? The taste? Is it the popping of the gum? The blow? What is it? I need it all.
And which flavor is it?
Which flavor tantalizes your tongue the most?
That's him.
Yeah. So
You
that's
like gum? Okay, next subject.
Yeah, just gum. Well, do you like Hubba Bubba? Do you like Bubblicious? Do you like? I mean,
just get me a pack of gum.
Yeah. So, all right, let's go ahead and wrap this up because we. So, just some closing thoughts and the challenge. So, as we look at just summarizing all that we've talked about today, I want us to walk away with understanding that being a safe space isn't about having all the answers. Excuse me. It's about being a reliable witness to your spouse's life, okay? Being a safe space is not about having all the answers. It's about being a reliable witness to your spouse's life. And so as we conclude and as we leave today, I want you to accept this weekly challenge of asking your spouse this week, is there any area where you feel like you can't be fully honest with me? And then listen without defending yourself. All right. So again, I'm Brad and this is
Terry.
And we are the keepers of the vault. We are the tillers of the safe soil. And we pray that this topic, this discussion today has blessed you, empowered you, given you some answers. Please, please, please respond, leave comments, leave questions. If you would like for us to cover a topic, send us a message at officialmossmail@gmail.com and we'll be more than happy to respond to you. All right. And until next time, you all have a blessed and productive day and blessed and productive marriage as you maintain your vow. Any last words?
Yep. Guys, have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful week.
All righty. Until next time.